What an awful, dull, uninspired, unambitious performance from England, honestly. And all eyes on Gareth Southgate. It's been a long time since I've done a match reaction where I've had to criticise a manager because, hey, I'm an Arsenal fan and Mikel Arteta has been smashing it this season. And this just reminds me of how frustrating it is when you're watching a team and you can clearly see what's wrong, you can clearly see what needs to change, who's not having a good game, who you've got on the bench that can potentially change the game, and the manager just sits there doing nothing. And you think to yourself, like, you know, people often say, oh, you think you know better than a manager. It's not just me, it's not just you, it's everyone. Everyone saying, how has Mason Mount played the entire game and Phil Foden not even got off the bench? Can you imagine what Phil Foden must be thinking, how frustrated he must be sitting there watching that game? Crazy. Not even has he decided, I'll give Trent a go for some, expansive passing or anything. Such an unambitious performance, such an unambitious setup. Yeah, fine, he did change Sterling and put Grealish on, and eventually he put Rashford on for Saka as well. But, these are like for likes. Where is him basically saying, okay, no, I need to change it up? And if, I know some of you will turn around and say, well, no, because America had sort of a foothold in the game, so we couldn't go too expansive. I mean, we're better. Look at that man-for-man team. We're better than the USA team. And that if you're saying, or if anyone is saying that, no, you couldn't have gone that expansive because of the fact that America were doing well in the game, well, that speaks to your tactical setup. How bad that must be. It was so clear in the first half that we needed one midfielder to drop back, to pull back a little bit and give us options to defeat the American press, which actually they did quite well. And whilst we were pressed by them, what pressing did we do? It was awful. Really, really awful. And it's a missed opportunity to beat the biggest human rights abusers in the whole tournament. Clearly, this is the tournament all about criticising human rights abusers. It would have been nice for England to kind of say, not that we're any better ourselves really, but to say, do you know what, let's put a few past the biggest human rights abusers. Didn't do it. Disappointing all round. And now, I mean, look, that group is set up very, very interestingly, but obviously England are going to be safe because the two teams in second and third play against each other. But in terms of inspiring confidence, the first game against Iran inspired a lot of confidence. We looked very fluid going forward. This game, very damaging to, I'd say, the confidence of the players and the confidence of the nation. Do you know what? That's not always a bad thing though. If the belief within the group and the confidence within the group can remain unaffected, actually it could take a bit of pressure off of them because there's just no expectation anywhere else after seeing such an abject performance. But questions have to be asked of Gareth Southgate here because that was really, really poor. And, it's just the fact that he's got such good players at his disposal. And it was so clear that we needed someone that had that ability to run with the ball, to kind of beat the American pressure and take a man on, drag a few Americans out of shape in a sense to create space for other people. And he didn't do that for so long. Grealish came on far too late. It should have been a half-time sub. It was so clear it wasn't working. And as I said at the start of this video, how Mason Mount lasted the entire game absolutely baffles me. Anyway, let's see what happens in the next game against Wales. Wales are now out, basically. So I don't see how England really convey a lot of confidence to people watching at home now in that game against Wales. Because even if we do beat them, it's not against good enough opposition in any case. Right now, we've been very inconsistent in our first two games. One good, one bad. Let's see what happens against Wales. Ultimately, though, it's the knockouts that really count. So if England can do the business, then this game will be a distant memory. But for me, this is a very, very negative game. Gareth Southgate has not covered himself in glory. The England team have done nothing to add confidence or excitement. And yeah, really, really poor.